Something Inside, the 83rd Doctor Who main range Big Finish release, first released in 4 parts across CD and download on June the 18th, 2006, and written by Trevor Baxendale. Now, this is the second time I'm having to record this particular review, because with my last one, I recorded it, I did all the edits, I uploaded it to YouTube, and then someone commented down below, why is there no audio? But I went back and looked and realised that somehow I didn't have any audio for this particular video. So this is the second time I'm having to do it. But anyway. The story sees the 8th Doctor, voiced once again by Paul McGann, and his companions, Charlie Pollard, voiced by Ian Fisher, and Keris, voiced by Conrad Westmus, seemingly land in an unfamiliar place that turns out to be a prison. A prison known as the Cube. It's not Cube. Apparently it's a rectangular cuboid. Just pointing it out. For anyone who remembers Harry Hill's TV thing around there, they leave a comment down below, I think. Now, it turns out that the Cube is somewhat of a prison for telepathically enhanced individuals. And it was that many years ago, during a war, they telepathically enhanced certain soldiers in order to help them win the war. And once the war had been won, they tried to use the same machinery and technology in order to remove the new abilities from the soldiers so that they could just go back to being normal beings. Unfortunately, they either couldn't remove the abilities or they ended up getting newer ones or enhanced abilities. So they built the Cube in order to kind of keep these people away from civilized society. And the prison is made of a material that suppresses psychic powers. While inside there, they encounter 2 individuals known as Eric Rawdon, an interrogator inside the prison, voiced by Stephen Elder, and his technical assistant, Mr. Twist, voiced by Ian Brooker. And the Doctor ends up being experimented on and briefly develops a form of amnesia, which doesn't strip away everything. He's not a bumbling mess, but he is shown to... He doesn't recognise Keris or Charlie. I mean, even though he knows that he's still the kind of person who would try to do good things, it seems as though he doesn't remember Charlie, he doesn't remember Keris, he doesn't even remember the TARDIS. He just has that subconscious need to do good. But even then, Rawdon and Twist want to find out the full extent of the Doctor's abilities, believing him to be a psychic. Meanwhile, Charlie and Keris end up finding a group of prisoners who have been trapped inside the Cube and are attempting to break free, including a prisoner named Marcus, also voiced by Ian Brooker, Tessa Wayland, a psychic who was previously a team medic, voiced by Liz Crowther, Gordon Latch, an assassin who they cultivated, voiced by John Killeran, and Jane Thurgood, a telepath voiced by Louise Collins. And as well as Rawdon and Twist, they're also trying to escape a creature known as the Brainworm that seemingly feasts upon psychics and telepaths. So they're trying to escape from it while also avoiding the eyes of Rawdon and Twist. Now, ultimately, in my original bad audio review of this, I also commented that I felt the ultimate ending of this story is rather like the classic 4th Doctor story of Horror Fang Rock. Because, spoiler alert if you don't want this ruined, but pretty much by the end of the story, only one person is actually left alive. Everyone else ends up getting destroyed by the Brainworm. And it does also lead to what I thought was an Among Us situation where I think it's people like the Doctor, Charlie, Keris, Rawdon, and I think Marcus as well. Everyone's kind of arguing amongst each other on who exactly has the Brainworm currently in their mind, kind of trying to suss each other out, double-cross or even triple-cross each other to try and find out what's going on. And ultimately, everyone ends up dead except for Marcus, who still has the Brainworm inside his head, and has to remain trapped inside the Cube. It's known that eventually he will grow old and die, but then since they can't let the Brainworm get out of the prison, it'll basically be left in there with nothing, and it will eventually succumb to its own injuries and die itself. So ultimately, this is a story that does get pretty dark. So have a listen for yourself. See what you think of this one. I think it's a pretty good story, and at the same time, it does. I do think it does show with the Doctor his inherent need to do good and trust people, even if he can't remember them entirely. But I think this is a good story to listen to. Have a listen for yourself and let me know what you think. Now, hopefully, I'll be able to up this time with actually decent audio. If I manage to do so, then the next Big Finish Doctor Who review I'm doing is Memory Lane. What do I think of that? Well, we'll have to wait and see. For now, wish me luck. Let's hope this works.